Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that is incredibly old, super rare and incredibly difficult to find, especially in this complete condition. We are looking at the 1950s release by Chad Valley Games from their series of board games. And this particular one we're looking at today is entitled Dan Dare's Race in Space board game, and it's all based on the character Dan Dare who appeared in the Eagle comics. Now, Dan Dare was a fictional character. He was created by illustrator Frank Hampson, and he appeared in the Eagle comic in the comic title Dan Dare Pilot of the Future. It appeared from 1950 to 1967, and then of course in many reprints. And there was also a radio show on Radio Luxembourg, which Dan Dare appeared in between 1951 and 1956. The Dan Dare stories were set very much in the 1990s, but the manner of the character is very reminiscent of a British war character, i.e. Biggles or perhaps even Buck Rogers. So Dan Dare did actually return to the comics in 1977 when it appeared in 2000 AD, the comic. It ran there from 77 to 79. And then again in the relaunched Eagle comic, which ran from 82 to 94. And then again, there was a Dan Dare mini-series, which was published in Titan Comics in 2017. So over the course of years, it's made an immensely amount of appearances in different types of comics. Anyway, this is the board game in front of us. And it says on the front there, Dan Dare's Race in Space, by permission of Eagle. And you can see an image there of Dan Dare in his spacesuit, and you can see his rocket ship, Anastasia, just flying above his head. And it says, made in England by the Chad Valley Company, Limited, Harborne. And it's based on characters created by Frank Hampson. So, that's the front of the box. If I just lift the box up, so we can see the side. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. And it says Dan Dare's Race in Space. If I turn the box to the end, yeah, we got the same again, Dan Dare's Race in Space. Same again at the top, Dan Dare's Race in Space. And the same again at the other end. And as usual with these board games of the time, there was absolutely nothing printed on the back. It was just basic cardboard. Okay, that's the box. Let's open the game up and let's have a look at the contents. Okay, so I've removed the contents from the box and this is what we got. So you can see we've got the very colourful board game there, if you can just see that in all its glory. There's many images there of Dan Dare and his companions and patriots, and of course the ships. And you can see you've got to start from Earth and finish in Mercury. It comes with 4 different tokens, so you've got green, red, blue and yellow, and they are all miniature Dan Dare rocket ships and miniature Anastasia rocket ships. And you also get a dice shaker and the dice, and obviously that's the original dice from the 1950s, a little small square dice with black numbers on it, or black dots on it signifying numbers. Okay, now the rules of the game are printed in the inside of the lid, as you can see, and it says rules for playing Dan Dare's Race in Space. Each player throws a dice. The one following the highest starts the game. The one throwing the highest starts the game. Starting from the Earth, the players move their spaceships, the number of spaces indicated by the throw of the dice. The object of the game is to navigate your spaceship to Mercury, the first one there being the winner. Any track may be followed, unless when landing on a hazard you are directed to alter course. If you are instructed to go to one of those planets, the moon or the space station, you must throw a 5 to get away. To finish, the exact number must be thrown to land on Mercury. Okay, so it's a very basic game. So you basically just follow the instructions on the board. Highest number throws first. And so let's just read some of the things we've got on the board. So you've got jet, clogged, go straight on, rather than taking the shortcut down the bend here. Turn right to avoid meteor shower. So you can go around that way. You got rotate, showing friction, go to Mars. Or rotor, showing friction, go to Mars. Speed, increased, extra throw. Alter course, turn too sharp, miss one turn, and so on. So there's lots of different things that you have to follow when you play the game. Obviously, the quickest route is to come down this first one, come all the way down here, go across there, and go up to the finish line. But you have to land exactly. Oh no, well, absolutely not. So if you throw a 6, suppose you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why couldn't you? But if you land on a 2, if you land there, then you've got to go straight on. So, but then you may have to cut through this way. Electric storm, miss a turn. You may have to go to Mars, depending on where you're directed to by the instructions on the board. So a very, very basic game, but it looks like it's good fun. It could be a quick game, could be a long game, depending on how the throw of the dice goes. So yeah, that's it. Not a lot else I could tell you about this game. I don't remember it from my childhood. I think it was a little bit before my time, even though I vaguely remember seeing the game in my cousin's game closet. But my cousins were about 7 or 8 years older than me. So, maybe it was a game that they played. I can just vaguely remember it, but say it was a long time ago. But I would imagine it was a very popular game at the time. Dan Dare was incredibly popular from the Eagle comics. So, begging the question is, how well did it do? Well, like I say, Dan Dare, incredibly popular character. The Eagle comic was one of the most popular comics out at the time. 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s, the Eagle was there. It was up there at the top with a Beano and a Dandy, that kind of thing. It was that type of comic. And Dan Dare was probably the main character from the Eagle, the most popular character, the most memorable character, and probably the longest lifespan of a comic character from the Eagle. So yes, very popular. I'd imagine the game was just as popular. Being a Chad Valley game, it was obviously a reasonably priced game for all the family to have and play. Okay, let's move forward to 2025. So we're moving forward about 70 years, maybe a few years more, depending on what date in the 50s. Trouble is with these board games, these old board games, they weren't dated. So you know that they were released in the 1950s, but we don't know exactly what year. So we're saying, if we say mid-50s, then we're 75 years on. So this game is at least 75 years old. Do they come up very often on the platforms nowadays? Well, I've seen a couple of them on the platforms. However, they are incomplete. I couldn't see any of them that still had the ship tokens. A lot of them have been replaced with little counters, just very much like this little tiddlywink counter. And I don't think I saw any with the original dice shaker. I think maybe even the ones, the dices weren't original. I don't know. They didn't look original to me. So there is a couple that were on the platforms, fairly expensive in comparison to the fact that they're not complete. And again, always be a bit vigilant on the condition if you're buying from a platform. Someone's idea of very good condition could be someone else's idea of acceptable condition. So just be a little bit careful if you do intend to buy on the platform. Now, these games, I say they don't come up that often. I saw only 2 on the platforms. Maybe it's because of the, well, I'm sure it is because of the age. I shouldn't think many of them has lasted the test of time, especially not like this one, which is complete and 100% original. So hence the reason why they probably don't appear very often. And they were cardboard games, so they really wasn't meant to last 75 years when they were produced. They were, you know, a game for concurrent popular items at the time. And bear in mind, back in the 1950s, there was no such thing as video recorders, live streaming, internet, satellite television, nothing like that. So the way you entertained yourself was with the popular comics at the time, board games. We only had 3 channels on the TV, BBC One, BBC Two and ITV. And that was it. And if you miss your programmes, well, that's it. They're done and dusted. You've got to wait for reruns or you don't get to see them. Simple as that. So board games was very, very popular. Comics were very, very popular at the time. And of course, obviously, based on the popularity of the comics, board games. So there we are. So all the questions answered, I think. Do they come up for sale very often on the platforms? Not very often. We've seen a couple. Were they a popular game? I imagine it was a very popular game. I don't know the numbers that were produced or anything like that, but I imagine it was a very popular game. And as again, very difficult to find nowadays in this fully complete, excellent, I would say, condition. However, yes, you know it, we at Midas Touch, we've managed to find this one game, but we do only have the one copy, and it is, as of today, available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage board games and many, many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Dan Dare board game with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.